During my spring break, I didn't go anywhere special like Cancun or California. I just went home. And because I didn't bother doing any schoolwork, I did what I do best, watching too much television. I was re-binging shows like The Office.
Our prices have never been lower.
Son, you have to talk louder.
Never been lower.
Louder, son!
Bud Liquor! Our prices have never been lower!
Stop here.
Watching reruns of Seinfeld on TBS.
Hey, you want these?
I don't want them!
And even been introduced to new shows I'd never seen before, like Veep. And during this time I noticed something. How much better women are getting in sitcoms. I noticed this while watching Veep. If you've seen Veep, you would understand what kind of character Selena Meyer, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, is. She's foul-mouthed, selfish, nakedly ambitious, opportunistic, and sometimes a cruel individual. Now compare that to her character Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld. Elaine is normally intelligent and assertive, but also quite superficial. She's one of the boys, and despite the troubles that they go through as a group, she remains the closest female friend to Jerry, George, and Kramer. Her traits are usually edgy and neurotic, and she has a tendency to easily get angry with almost everybody. I think that character is a good role, but 15 years later, the women in sitcoms are becoming more transgressive. I think it's important to note the timeline of females in sitcoms, starting with Lucy Ricardo in I Love Lucy back in 1951. The show is considered one of the all-time greats, but let's actually take a deeper look at her character. Lucy is very kind and a little quirky, yet slightly incompetent. When you really take a deeper look at it, you can see that she wasn't just a character, it was a caricature of the gender. That's how it was for many years on sitcoms, up until sometime in the 1980s and 90s, where women were given qualities that were usually used for male characters, such as the show Roseanne, where Roseanne Barr played a schlubby, gruff working woman just looking out for her family. The character is essentially a male character, except played by Barr. Roseanne Barr was often criticized for adopting this character trait. On the topic of this trait, comedian journalist Elias Sijakowski said, "For a long time there was pressure to seem like you were cool. You were one of the guys." Then years later, Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld expanded the spectrum. She was one of the guys, but also got her way into a string of relationships, which she generally ruined through her neurotic or self-involved behavior. Selena Meyer doesn't have traditional feminine virtues, but she has flaws associated with men and with women, as well as attributes prized in men. Plus, Selena's a fantastic character, a massive insecurity and narcissism, and charm and nastiness. It's no wonder why she's been winning Emmys every year since 2012. Despite this transformation in female characters, there's often nitpicks that target these female comedians. Because of the loose structure of comedy, a detailed focus on equality can limit female comics to nothing but stereotypes. A medium that capitalizes on shock and broken taboos can't thrive when actors are expected to get off script. Characters like Liz Lemon of 30 Rock to Mindy Lahiri from the Mindy Project have been critiqued, not for failing as comics, but for presenting a negative image of their gender, for proving to be too weak, selfish, or obsessed with men to embody the ideal modern woman. Selena Meyer has managed to escape this criticism because she is the vice president and doesn't represent any female qualities. Emily Nussbaum of The New Yorker stepped up to defend Liz Lemon of 30 Rock, arguing, "From the beginning, Liz Lemon was pathetic. That was what was enthralling and even revolutionary about the character. The show let her be the George Costanza, not the Mary Richards." For women, the evolution past screwball punchline has been in the works for decades, and the proliferation of unlikable, uninspiring, and even unrelatable heroines suggests we've reached a tipping point. It's no longer shocking news when people like Tina Fey or Amy Poehler get their own show. It's expected. Once comedians played into or against stereotypes. Now, the most recognizable female characters in sitcoms combine traits from across the spectrum. They're magnetic role models mixed with black sheep, with a small dose of terrible judgment. If the television world has finally evolved past stereotype-driven female comedy, the inclusion of unwise characters such as a lazy millennial girl or a desperate single woman, it'll be part of the great deal. Real roles for females in sitcoms. To get girls fully accepted into the boys' club of comedy, at last, it might just be worth it.